All right, everybody. Welcome to our second week of the Wix affiliate site that I'm teaching you guys how to do. And I stayed true to my plan last week, which was to simply just crank out content. If you guys can remember, we decided that we'd use the Wix software and we'd build an affiliate site off of it. And this is, you're looking at it right now. It's called planterwortweb.wixsite.com/warts. Now that's the Wix URL. You get one of those web addresses for free, and I customize mine, and that's what it is right now. If I want to take this really seriously, eventually I'm going to probably connect a real domain name to it, but I'm not too worried about that right now because I kind of want to test out how well just a Wix site without a custom domain name ranks. So we're going to let that stand. Last week, I think I had one blog post up for you guys, and it was this first one right here. It's called Are Foot Warts Contagious? And since then, I've done this one, Kids Plantar Wart, Should I Be Concerned? This one, Does Compound W Wart Remover Work? This one, What Does a Plantar Wart Look Like? And then this one right here, What Are the Black Seeds in My Plantar Wart? I know you guys are probably all sorts of grossed out by the content and the pictures, and believe me, I am too. But I think this is a good niche, and I think it's a good niche because there's a lot of anti-wart or wart removal products out there and affiliate products out there that are good. There's a tremendous amount of search volume demand for like how-tos and just general questions, which is why you'll notice these titles for all of my content are usually questions that I'm simply answering inside of a blog post, like what are the black seeds in this plantar wart, or what does a plantar wart look like, or does compound W wart remover work? And these are keywords that I've researched, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that today, so you guys can do the same on yours. But as far as the plan for this, you'll notice there hasn't been a lot of work done on the design. Looks about the same as it did last week. It's got the essential elements where it's got a site title and an About Us page, and generally it looks nice. It's pretty white and plain Jane, but that's fine. It doesn't need to have a spectacular design at this point. The important thing is content. So I have done, let's see, last week I had one piece of content. If I look at my blog right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of content. So in the past week, I've put up really 6 pieces of content, but 5 since we last did our video. And so I want to report some of the things that I've found as I've used Wix, some of the things that I've liked and maybe not liked as much. I got to tell you, I think their blog builder here is really pretty intuitive, really intuitive. And so we're going to do a training likely next week on just putting together a good blog post using this software. And it's super simple because when you log in, you just come right up here to the top right and you click on New Post. And if I click on that, it'll take me into where I can compose a new post, and they're way easy to build out. What you do is you come in here and you type in a title, and then you start writing your content right here. And if you want to add a picture, boom, you click on the little image icon. There's a spot to add videos. All I've done so far is just add pictures and text, which, if done well, can rank real well in Google. I've also done a little bit of SEO on the pages. So let's go back, and I'll show you what I mean by SEO. Let's go ahead and look at this one. This post is called Where Do Plantar Warts Come From? Okay, and let's edit this. And you can see the blog post here. I've got a couple images, and the length isn't all that impressive for the blog posts themselves. In fact, if I look here, I'll tell you how long this one was. This blog post, yeah, basically 350 words, rounded up. That's how long that blog post was. And so a lot of mine are probably around 500 words or so. I mean, you can certainly go longer if you want to, but you got to just think: is it enough content to where I feel like I'm really covering the subject matter of whatever I'm trying to answer? Question I get a lot of is, well, how am I deciding on my content that I'm putting on here, and what are some of my goals surrounding my content week in and week out? Well, we decided that content-wise, I wanted to do maybe 20 to 25 articles before I try to do any advertising. And that's because I want to have something of value before I approach advertisers. If I'm going to go out to Compound W, who's a company that sells some of the removal products, and I want to set up an affiliate relationship with them, they're going to want to know where I'm going to be posting this content or posting ads for their product. And I want to have a really nice looking site with a lot of content that I can present to them and say, hey, here is where that content's going to go, and likely I shouldn't have any problems getting approved. Additionally, if I want to get set up on, say, Google AdSense and run the AdSense advertising network, I don't want to do that on a really content thin website. I want to have it pretty robust with pretty good content. And I'm not just throwing these posts together. I mean, I sit down for maybe, by the time I want to write on something, get images, put it together, write out the content, edit it, it's probably 30 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes a post. So I spent a few hours on it, but not crazy amount of time. Because the Wix builder's been so simple to use, I haven't had much of a problem, putting that content together. So it's been pretty straightforward. So this week I got done with what did I say? An additional. Actually, no, I did more than what I said. I think I have more content than what I told you guys originally. Let me go back here. Because I had 1, and now 1, 2, 3. No, so I've done 5. That's accurate. So what I'm up to right now is I did 5 new blog posts. Now I have 6 total. I did SEO, or at least on-site optimization on each post. And I guess included in that, I did keyword research for each post, and chose one target phrase to try to get it ranked. Really, the goal of a site like this is creating these independent landing pages, right? Like each one of these blog posts is a landing page. So like let's take this recent one that I wrote. Hold on, site's being slow. Again, this is planterwortweb.wixsite.com. Here we go. This is the most recent one. Where do planterworts come from? This is the way it looks on the site. Okay. So this is the content right here. I'll have space for advertising on this for sure. But right now I'm just writing out the content and getting it done, right? Anyway, as far as like how I'm choosing my keyword phrases, let's start there. Let's talk about that. So, for example, I mean, this is a great way for keyword choice. You go to Google and you type in where do planter, and then look what Google does for me here. Can you see what's happening here? They're automatically suggesting different finishes to what I've just typed, right? There's 4 of them. Where do planter, and then they finish by saying warts come from. Where do you get planter? I guess you pronounce that fasciitis or fasciitis. Where do you feel plantar fasciitis? Where do you catch plantar warts? Each one of those is an independent search that's actually happening in Google. Google's only finishing what I started typing because they know that people in the past have finished it the way they're displaying. And so as a Google user, they're trying to shorten my my typing by giving me some autofill options, so I could just go down and select it if I were looking for it. But for me as an internet marketer, they're giving me a lot of information here. They're telling me likely people have gone in and typed these different things. Now here's what's interesting. I see all of these as an individual blog post opportunity. So I already wrote the one on where do planner words come from, right? That's been done. That's an article that's been written. It's the one we were just looking at. But what about this? This one here at the bottom where it says where do you catch plantar warts? Now, that's really just a different way of saying where do plantar warts come from, right? And essentially, the blog post I wrote answers both questions. But the problem is, I didn't optimize that original blog post for where do you catch plantar warts. It was optimized for where do plantar warts come from. Which means even though I answer that question perfectly, if somebody did look for where do you catch plantar warts, or if somebody typed that into Google, likely that post isn't going to show up because I didn't optimize that page for that specific keyword search, even though it answers the question. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to need to do, if I want to also catch that audience that's typing it in that way, where do you catch plantar warts, I need to write an entirely new blog post optimizing using that keyword phrase. And I can't copy the content of the other one. I would have to rewrite it, maybe use some different pictures. That way that page ranks high and the other page ranks high, and they both act as these two separate landing pages so that when somebody types that in, I'm catching the audience with both variations. Okay, does that make sense? So that's probably what I'll do. And that's why when you look at this site that we're creating here, it's going to look a little repetitive at times, right? Like the content will seem repetitive, but it's because I'm writing it not like a book, right? Not like some bloggers write a blog where it follows a narrative and it's linear. This isn't that way at all. This is just independent articles all put on one site that I'm hoping I can use as bait to bring people in. Okay? Is that making sense to you guys? You see the strategy behind that? Now, as far as the SEO, the on-site SEO that was done on the blog post, it's pretty simple. I name the article the target keyword phrase. Okay? And then within the article itself, I use that target phrase a couple of times. Like the actual phrase, where do plantar warts come from, is used in this content a couple of times. In fact, I'll show you. It's used here at the start, and it's used at the very bottom as well as in the title. Okay? So I use it. I'll show you the SEO that was done. Let me edit this. Inside the article here, under Advanced, which is right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to click on that. Now that's going to take me to where I do my SEO. Okay, so I do this first. This is the URL. 2, I do the meta title. 3, I do the meta description. That's really the only on-site SEO you have to do. In addition to like maybe putting it in the title and then using it a little bit in the content, these 3 things under the advanced section is what you want. And they populate what shows up on Google, okay? So number 1, which is the URL, is this green URL right here. I'm going to put a 1 by this, okay? 2, the meta title is this. And then 3, the meta description is this, right? Do you guys recognize that? When you do a search in Google, that's what websites look like. They look like this listing right here. I control what that looks like, which is important because it gives me an opportunity to use target keyword phrases and to lure people into my site. And I will rank better if I use my target phrases in the right place. So where do plantar warts come from? I use that in the URL. I use it as the title, and then I use it here in the description. And actually, in this case, I didn't use it in the description because I felt like it'd be a little overkill. I probably should, though. Let's edit that. I'm going to say, where do plantar warts come from, you ask? The short answer is they are spread from the HPV, which gets passed around. Read more. Okay, something like that. So you'll notice I use that where do plantar warts come from again here, and put a little more information on it. So that's a little bit of on-site SEO here for this particular blog post. Okay, let me update that. Okay, so guys, I hope you're catching the vision here. I mean, this is just the start of this project, but I'm going to show you that it's doable, right? Like, I'm not working on this 15 or 20 hours a week. This week I worked on it, 5 blog posts, you know, maybe 30, 45 minutes a piece. So probably, you know, 4 hours worth of work on writing, something like that. And that counts, you know, me messing around with Wix and learning to use Wix a little bit better. So, you know, it didn't take me all that much time. Now, this isn't my first blog, and I've done plenty of writing before, but I got to tell you, I don't know the first thing about this subject matter. I'm learning it as I'm doing it. So I'll get onto websites, I'll look at YouTube, and I'll learn a little bit, and then I'll create my content. I'll go and actually search for it. You know, I think today I even searched for where do plantar warts come from, learned a little on YouTube, learned a little from some sites in Google, and then just took all the content I learned, put it on a blog post, and it was good to go. So that can be done in 30, 45 minutes, under an hour, and you know, you can create content pretty quickly. I mean, you guys blink here in a month or so. If I continue on this project like I'm planning on, we'll have 25 or 30 articles in a month. I mean, it'll be a very full website. And then at that point, here's the plan. I'm then going to organize the content. I'll create categories and some tags to organize it on the site. I'm definitely considering at that point putting a little effort into the look and design of the site. I might add in a little logo. I may consider getting a unique domain name at that point. Unfortunately, with Wix, that's going to cost me a little bit of money. I think I've got to end up paying like $5 a month for their hosting plan for that. But I can do that. I don't want to, because I want to test out these free Wix URLs to see how the rankings are. But if I don't start pulling rankings with those, and this really turns into a project I want to pursue long term, I will get a domain name and pay the $5 a month. It's not that big of a deal. And then immediately after, I'm going to go ahead and add some ads to the site, and then I'm going to start marketing. And by marketing, that means I'm going to start creating more content. I'm going to set up a Facebook page, a Twitter account, an Instagram, a YouTube page, set up all my social media, and I'm going to start posting and blasting content there, using hashtags, following people, interacting. I'm going to use social media to push this a little bit. And I'm not going to do any paid advertising on this. I may do a little bit of pay-per-click advertising to show you kind of how that works, but it would be a very, very cheap sort of lower-end 7search.com type of pay-per-click. I'm not going to do any AdWords. It'll likely be too expensive on a site like this. But I might. If I can get a good affiliate offer, you know, if Compound W is going to sell a product for $20 and give me, you know, 5 per sale, and I can get traffic to a page selling that product for 25 cents a click and have a high conversion rate, maybe I can do it. I don't know, but that's what we're going to try out. And so, guys, this is what affiliate marketing is all about. It's about hustling. It's about creating content and knowing what you're doing from a marketing standpoint. We didn't even talk about link building. I want to try to link build into this and really, you know, maybe bolster my my Google search results as a result. I feel like a lot of times these sites, the backbone of your marketing should be that free traffic you gain out of Google. And with a little basic on-site SEO, a little basic keyword research, and certainly with a little bit of link building, I feel like I can accomplish that, and I have done with other sites. So I think it's going to be fun to let you guys watch this process, and who knows, maybe I'll fall flat on my face because the Wix site is preventative, and doesn't allow me to do certain things that I want to do. That was the whole reason why we're testing this, but it gives you guys a chance to kind of see it in action. So I hope this is helpful. Usually you do have character limits in the description. This is for Bob and Nancy asking. If you're talking about the meta description, you don't want to usually go beyond like 155 characters. That's about as many as Google will display. So it's not wise to go beyond that. As far as content limitations or like length of blog posts, there's really no limitations there. I know Wix has a bandwidth limitation, which I'm a little concerned about because that may be preventative to us if we start driving a lot of traffic. So I'm going to learn a little bit more about that. But the long and short of it is I don't know if I wanted to build a for sure foundation that I know works well with affiliate marketing, I would have dug right into WordPress. But this is definitely an experiment here on Wix. Yeah, good. I'm glad you guys feel like this is going to be fun. Some of you guys have mentioned that you're kind of interested in watching somebody just do the whole thing. A lot of my other trainings, it's just me telling you how to do it, but I'm not taking a project from start to finish. And I think it's going to be fun taking this from start to finish so you can see what it's like and what some of the challenges are going to be like. Any questions then today? I want to just kind of give you a brief update on the project, high level, teach you some things about SEO. I think that's all we'll do today. I will maybe dig more into the Wix builder next time and maybe put together a blog post and kind of show you my thought process on that. That might be a lot of fun to have you guys actually see how that happens. We'll see. I'm not sure exactly what we'll do, but I'll leave it open for just a minute for questions. I'm going to turn off the recording if you guys are watching this recorded. We sure appreciate you being here, and I hope this was helpful. And for those of you who are here live with me, I'll open it up for questions here in just a second. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.